Leaving class, staff, faculty, and boys. What a year. I can't believe it's been almost 9 months since I addressed you here first. Since then, much has changed, including my sweater vest, the food in the lower dining hall, and IB2 attendance. Here we are, almost at the end of our high school career, and I don't know if I'll get to speak to you guys formally again. So I just want to say that I couldn't be more proud to be in your leaving class. So thanks to everything, boys. I love you all. Before I begin, I'd like to ask all those boys in the hall who've had Mr. Webb as a teacher to just raise their hand. All right, so you guys are lucky. It's a good number. Thank you. So when Mr. Webb told me he was going to be retiring this year, I was sad for the school. I pitied all the boys that who would never get to be his students, who would never be able to be mentored by him or to witness his wit. But I was also selfishly relieved. I was graduating, so his retirement wouldn't really affect me. I admit that a few weeks after he informed me, I began wondering who'd be the lucky boy to say goodbye to him at assembly. And a few months ago, when Mr. Webb asked me if I'd be open to say a few words about him, I was thrilled and more than honored. But at the same time, I was nervous of having the task of making a proper goodbye to a UCC legend, especially since most of you know Mr. Webb's a difficult marker. One would never be able to tell by looking at him, his youthful countenance, his unparalleled sock and tie collection, his colorful garb, but Mr. Webb has been at Upper Canada College longer than anyone else currently teaching or living on this campus. He graduated from UCC in 1968 and went on to Middlebury and U of T to pursue studies in Russian and history. He came back to the college in 1975 and has been involved in school fairs ever since, where within the past 40 years, in addition to teaching English, he has led student trips to Hungary and Austria and even tours of the former USSR. He's been the head debate coach, the faculty advisor of WAC, director of Little Theater, the head of the English department, the World Cultures and Modernism classes teacher, a cross-country coach, a former senior house advisor for Jackson's for 12 years, and currently the faculty advisor for the Global Ideas Institute program and the senior editor of Convergence, just to name a few of his engagements. But even without reading his impressive CV, Mr. Webb's impact on the UCC community is considered profound by any metric. I guess by current standard, for us boys, that would be by the amount of likes his Facebook post got on UCC, a whopping 508 or something. Mr. Webb, like many other teachers here, is a link between generations of UCC students. Whenever I meet recent and long-time old boys, it's uncanny how mentioning Mr. Webb's name immediately forms a bond, a connection between us, often invoking laughter, memories, and further remarks like, "Oh man, I loved him, he was the best teacher," and "Oh wow, that guy's still around? How old is he now?" I met Mr. Webb 2.5 years ago. When he walked into our first FY English class that year, I was intimidated by his perfect posture, his piercing glare. He exuded both immense wisdom and sternness that I thought would make English class intolerable. But I soon discovered his wit, humor, and casual threats of defenestration, mockingly of course, complemented his intellect, creating a fun class dynamic and allowing him to seamlessly edify teenage boys on how to analyze content and perceive literary elements when reading with a pen in hand, of course, to make margins in the notes. But even more so, and I speak for many when I say this, he taught me, us, how to write. I remember getting my first assignment, which was a summary and analysis of Stratford's rendition of Romeo and Juliet, back after he graded it. 5+. A great mark by all means, but lower than anything I'd had the previous years in English. And I struggled to come to terms with it, holding a grudge against him and visibly showing my unhappiness. Reaction to setbacks. Reaction to setbacks is one of the criteria American universities ask teachers to evaluate, I remember him saying. He said, "Instead of dealing it with this way, come to speak to me. I'm here to help you improve your writing." On a side note, Mr. Webb wrote a reference for me 2 years later, and I got into university, so thanks for not including that. But yeah, so after that, for each assignment, I began to think about not only what I was writing, but how I was writing it. Variety and sentence structure, that was the key. Each assignment I fell in love with, each phrase I poured myself into, and I sought help from Mr. Webb, and he would push me to what I thought then was my limit. At one point in May or April, I remember receiving a paperback that he said he really enjoyed reading, and he said it was amazing. He gave me a 6++. I don't even know if that's a thing. He said, "So close to a 7, but I know you can do better." Mr. Webb is more than an educator. He's an avid reader, a world-renowned art collector, a traveler, and a lifelong learner. His doors are always open to anyone to discuss anything, except maybe sports. And that's perhaps what I found most comfort. I connected with him through an appreciation of culture, art history, and music and movies, and yes, Russian literature. And so he was assigned my EE advisor and helped me to unpack the reasons we, the readers, are Geronto Raskolnikov and Alex from Crime and Punishment and Clockwork Orange. And he asked me to join the GII program at U of T, which challenged me to think critically and globally, and he aided our group as we tackled the obstacle that is financial inclusion in rural India. This farewell is about Mr. Webb and not about our relationship, but instead of giving an I believe speech to today, I want to combine them, because like the so many boys before me, to those sitting and standing in this hall, Mr. Webb has been my idol, my mentor, and my friend. And if I may add, to me, Mr. Webb has been a father figure. I believe that Mr. Webb is an ideal teacher. I believe that he has made UCC a better place, and I know that I am where I am because of his guidance and his tutelage. Mr. Webb, spasibo и до свидания. Thank you for everything you have done for me, for everything you've done for others and students and teachers, and for the college itself. You will be missed, but your legacy not forgotten. We wish you all the best in your retirement. May you read, travel, and continue to explore the world as you do so youthfully and vibrantly. May you continue to learn from people and places and things, and I hope that you will continue to educate no matter where you are or whom you come across, because it seems that to you, teaching has never been a job, but an intrinsic passion. I speak on behalf of the leaving class of 2016 when I say, Mr. Webb, Marshall, if I may, it's an honor to be graduating with you.